watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
Everyone, and welcome to beautiful rural Connecticut for the North-South Racing League and the Foothill Farms 125. For Ghostfire Media, I'm Josh Laston, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Wood. Adam, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Just out here enjoying the beautiful weather. I am watching these cars go around here trying to get the fastest lap out and watch them push these cars to the limit.
And they have been pushing the walls to the limit during practice here. Thompson, Speedway, we're back to short track racing. What these cars are meant for, what these guys love. Everybody we talked to last week, we're ready to get back to them as we see Jordan Madden decide to start giving
over the
everybody a
fence,
little bit of push and then end up on his lid outside of the track. But we're back to a mile and a half, half a mile. That would be some speed. But we're back to the short tracks. We're back to these guys having to use brakes a lot. And you know what? I'm looking forward to 125 laps. Good, hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think these guys are going to be able to make the bottom line work, and I think the outside line may come in. I think they're going to be able to make it challenging, side-by-side racing. I think these cars need to have a really great launch off the bottom to make the bottom group work, and if there's somebody on the outside of them, I think they'll be able to pinch them down just a little bit and take away that wonderful exit that they need, and that'll allow the upper groove to maintain, if not lose just a little bit to the bottom groove.
Well, we definitely have a lot of options tonight. This is a relatively wide track for one of these half miles, and these cars are narrow. We could go 4 wide if the guys were brave enough, and okay, very, very brave. And you know, I really kind of want to see it. I want to see it once, guys. If anybody out there is listening, I want to see it. It can be during practice. It could be at any point tonight. But I at least want to see 3 wide.
I think 3 wide is doable here. I think you're able to chunk it in there. Either dive it down low or take it to the outside and try to get a good run out the corner. But I don't see 4 wide happening.
Don't break my heart. I really want to see it. That's all it is. But we're seeing a lot of these guys testing the wall still. But we're seeing lap times. Right now, the fastest in practice is Mr. Dante Curtis. and he is on a 21.47. And we don't see anyone outside of the 21s. Everybody is within about 0.3 of a second right now. So we should be able to see some good racing. It's going to take a lot of time for anyone to end up getting lapped without a little bit of extra help. But we are getting ourselves ready for qualifying. The first person to put himself out there on the track is Casey Wood, and everybody's kind of sitting there. But Casey Wood is going to be the first one out in that number 48 Lightning McQueen car. That again, thankfully, the eyes are in the lights now. I needed that. But we'll see. We will see what he's capable of getting done as he has the outlap. He's searching that high line, doing a late apex, which will give you a great run down the back stretch. It may not be the right way to go during the race because someone can get down below you, but when you're searching for a fast lap, that is the ticket in this situation. And he gets his first lap done, and that's actually going to move him into second. Right now, Adam Gable in the 91 is making his lap. He was the provisional pole sitter, but somebody has been supplanting him, and he's actually in fifth as he crosses the line on his second lap and was not able to improve. Dante Curtis is out there. He is currently the pole sitter by a solid 1/10 of a second. He spins it and parks it, because that may be good enough. We have Ryan Johnson out there about to set his second lap. Gets a little bit loose coming out of turn 4, and he is still sitting in second. That second lap was not much better. We'll go ahead and join the 23 of Gary Eschen, who is on his first lap right now, and we're going to see if he is able to get himself up into that magical position. Our invert for tonight is P8, and right now that position is Devin Rogers, and Gary Eschen actually puts himself in 7th. So right now that's going to sit him in the front row. We'll see if he improves on his second lap. I'm not quite sure he's going to be able to do it. He looks a little slow. And no improvement. We will join John Cross in the number 10 and see what he's able to do on his second lap, currently in 19th.
Just a little bit better on that one. Moved up to a 2190. Puts him in 18th spot.
And out on track is Brian Hacker, looking to set his first lap. I do have to say that gold looks wonderful in the bright sunlight that we have today.
Great for that wonderful Pontiac he's driving there.
I actually fixed up one when I was younger that was that specific. It brings back good memories of rebuilding drum brakes, but that actually is going to put him up into second place with his first lap, about 0.06 off of Dante Curtis's pole time. Unable to improve on the second lap, and right now we've got Jeff Mathis in the number 8 making his way around the track. I want to do a car that I just sponsor myself, just name real big on the side like that.
Oh man, you're a unicorn, car. That was one point. You're gonna keep with that one.
No, that was a one-off for Daytona. And the last guy looking to set a lap right now is the 51 of Jared Apel, who is coming off a turn 4 hot at about 100 miles an hour. Puts himself up into 4th with a 21.62. We'll see if he is able to improve on the second lap. but that's a pretty good lap right there. Ooh, not nearly as tidy through turn 4 as he was the last time around, and that shows being about a little over a tenth off, and that is the entire field has run their laps, and we still have a few seconds. It's rare that everyone puts that time in that early. And qualifying is over, and it is time for us to go ahead and hop out to the 5-minute warm-up. Let these guys get a little more experience on track. See, maybe they do a little bit less of some hot lapping and maybe go for some long runs, but
Or maybe it goes for some 3-wide action for you.
Somebody please. Just for giggles. I'm a firm believer that it can be done.
I mean, their fast line that, you know, after watching the qualification, you can see their fast line is kind of running the middle groove here. They're not really clipping the bottom apex here at all, really. So, I mean, you're going to have somebody that's going to drop down low to try to take that bottom lane away. And you could have somebody up there in that high, kind of where the dark and light marbles hit up there. So, could happen.
I'm just... Again, if that fast line is there on that middle groove and you're leaving a car's width down below, there's going to be a brave soul that will throw it down and do everything in their power to try to get around somebody just by cutting a little bit of distance around the track.
Yeah, they're gonna see some really great moves here tonight. Hopefully we can catch them on camera for everybody. I think there's gonna be a lot of battles throughout the whole entire track here. And
I definitely think, as we can see, the somewhat creepy crowd that iRacing throws in there, I'm gonna avoid that camera for the night.
People just staring at them from the gate. Come on, race for me.
The worst part is there's a few too many mullets in there for it to be realistic. Because it never really has gone away. As a matter of fact, my barber has one. I don't know what that says about my barber and why I trust him, but he does. But it can actually look good, but again, there's just a few too many out there for me to really appreciate iRacing's fans.
I wonder if their fans are actually like employees, like, you know, like, hey, do you want to be a part of the iRacing game? Here, we'll scan your face and we'll put you into the crowd.
Here, let us take a side profile photo of you in a tank top and shorts.
Please have a mullet. Come into work that day with a mullet. Just go grab a wig. So everybody can have a mullet wig going on here.
If you told me that was the intention, if you gave me the time to prepare, I would grow my hair out to have a mullet. No. 100% not opposed.
I hear Dale Jr.'s has been scanned, and he's in quite a few crowds. I'm not sure if this is true or not.
I would not be surprised if somewhere at every track there is a Dale Jr.
Like, find out where's Waldo, like, where's Junior?
And of course, they would never put it in a position that we would be able to find it on, say, a normal camera. You would have to, like, pick it out from the track somewhere.
You'd have to adjust all the cameras and just start flying around the track with the camera.
All I know is I have to appreciate that the first two pit stalls have the same color pit box that I do.
That kind of throws you off there.
Well, yeah. It does. It is definitely something that I have grown accustomed to, and anytime somebody has a pink pit box, because it originally just started as me running that, so I knew where my pit stall was, because it's iRacing. Not many people actually run pink.
I just go for Deadpool on all my flag stands I have to put out there.
Yeah, well, some of us then know when my pit box is because yours tends to be in front of mine, and I'm never going to admit that again on broadcast.
It's hit or miss. You know, it's some quali nights are good, and some of them are very terrible.
But we've got about 10 seconds left of our warm-up. I'm looking forward to actually getting back to the short track racing. These guys in the North-South Racing League have, without a doubt, provided me with some of the best short track experiences I've had as a broadcaster. And
there's a wheel just went by. Did you see it?
Yes, I saw him decide to go ahead and hit that barrel because why not?
Oh, man.
All right, let's go ahead and take a quick run through our qualifying. In first was Dante Curtis. Second was Brian Hacker. Third, Jordan Madron. Fourth, Jared Apel. Fifth, Ryan Johnson. Sixth, Will Eastman. Seventh, Matt Dula. Eighth, Jeff Bergener. Ninth, Dustin Shepard. 10th, Justin Rigsby. And 11th is Gary Eschen.
12th is going to be Jason Gordon. 13th is Devin Rogers. 14th is Travis Hoffler. 15th is Brennan Kozinski. 16th is Adam Gable. 17th is Casey Wood. 18th is Shane Loveridge. 19th is Jeff Mathis. 20th is Matt Cook. 21st will be Robbie Clavey. 22nd is John Cross. And running out of the top 23rd is John Matherson.
All right. As we get ourselves pacing around, and we have somebody out in the chat, Adam, that is unfortunately quoting something that has come out of your mouth before while we were racing.
Yeah, going Bobby. That's my good old buddy Vincenzo Gentile. Vinny, my old co-worker and good friend here, is about to go off and have some fun down in Fort Rucker, Alabama, trying to improve his life and get a good promotion.
Oh, military people.
Yep.
Being able to actually, move up. And we've got Cale Curtis out there as per usual, rooting on Dante. Dante got a great position from the invert, and the pace truck is off, so we are getting ourselves ready to go racing. Jeff Bergener leads us to the green flag. It is flying at Thompson, and we're going to go 2x2 into turns 1 and 2, and they are getting low on that inside lane, and that looked like that might not have been the right idea. Matt Dula takes over the lead of this race, and we're staying 2x2. It looks like Jared Apel back there in 6th was thinking about taking it 3 wide. Come on, do it. Do it.
Oh,
and
there they go.
Oh, he sticks a nose up in there, but he decides to back out. Dante Curtis is starting to get himself up and try to push a little bit harder to get himself up into that top 3. But this side-by-side action for 2nd and 3rd is gonna let Matt Dula just kind of tear away. But the 21 is fighting the 68 right now very hard, and he's managed to keep up, but he's gonna end up dropping because that low line is not where you want to be. Right now, Dante Curtis gets his nose out in front of the 21, and that's going to get him 3rd place. And Jeff Bergener right now just dropping like a rock because he cannot get to that top lane.
Yeah, I mean, like I said in the pre-race, like the guys on the bottom need that full length of going out. Like you see him right there. He's able to come all the way up to the wall, and that's where he gets the speed. When he has to stop and not make that full run to the wall, he loses so much momentum, and that's when the outside lane is able to roll like that, as we see these guys starting to stack up single file here all the way up to about 6th place. We see Brian Hacker right there on the bottom side trying to get past Justin Rigsby in that 31.
And Justin Rigsby's now is coming under pressure from Dustin Shepard. Dustin Shepard is trying to get himself just up a little bit farther away from that cutoff point from the top 10. Currently sitting in 9th, but the 23 of Gary Eschen, he's threatening, and he's looking to stick a nose in. But the top 3, they're just kind of running away.
Yeah, I mean, all the short track racing we've seen so far this season has basically been bottom feeder. You want to be at the bottom of the track. You're protecting that inside line. This one, they're running the middle groove of the racetrack, and that's kind of where the fast groove is. You don't see them trying to drive low into the corners to block that bottom run. So it's a little bit different of short track racing here because the higher bankings.
Well, specifically with these street stocks, they don't necessarily have the power of a modified or a super late to where they have to carry a little bit of speed. Thompson's not the highest banking track that we're going to see, as right now the 68's looking like he's going to try that low line, gets a nose underneath. He's not going to be able to get the pass done, but that's going to open up the door for Dante Curtis to stick him on that low line. And Jordan Madron is, from one moment getting aggressive to losing a spot, as we are 10 laps in the books.
I mean, that's one of those risks that you have to take. You have to know that you're going to be able to get this position. If not, you may lose a position if there's a guy right behind you. So unfortunately, he lost the spot because Dante Curtis was right there to fill that void for him.
And right now we're also starting to see that 21 make his way back up there, but I'm going to make a quick jump back here. This is the battle for 6th as Brian Hacker gets himself down below Jared Apel, and he's making that lower line work, but he's also forcing Jared up high. And that's going to make it to where the 31 is able to join this party, and forgot about not using that camera. And yeah, that's going to open up that door. The 31 of Justin Rigsby, he's looking to try to get himself up into that 7th place position away from Jared Apel. But we're going to make our way back up to the front as Dante Curtis in that 03 is right there on the gearbox of the 17.
Yeah, he's putting pressure like crazy right now on him. Just hoping he would make a mistake. He's hoping Matt Dula overdrives the corner and does something wrong, and he's going to try to capitalize off of it.
All right, we're starting to hit lap traffic, and that's Shane Loveridge running that low line, being the gentleman and giving everybody space to run their line. But Matt Dula doing a fantastic job of defending. He's been fast as of recent. He's had a little bit of bad luck, but he got the best luck tonight on this inverted start. Got himself onto the outside line and has not relinquished the lead since we started.
Yeah, so far he's led the very first 16 laps of the 16-lap event, and then but Dante Curtis is searching for a way to get around him right now.
Well, as I'm going to jump back here as Brian Hacker moves up one more spot, getting himself up into the top 5. And there's a little bit of a stack up. Will Eastman, Jared Apel, these guys aren't slow, but there is a pack right here. All these guys are a little bit over a 1/10 of a second separated, and we're just currently just running our race.
I mean, everybody right now, looking at their lap times, I mean, everybody's within a 10th right now. Nobody's really too far ahead or too far back. But the top 10 are within about a tenth of each lap of each other. So, I mean, everybody's running almost identical lap times.
Well, and we have the comment out there in YouTube land. Unfortunately for everyone who's on Facebook doesn't get to see it, that is actually race control. Apparently a lot of people were having issues with the entry to pit lane. So, all right, guys, keep it clean. Get us some green flag pit stops because I want to see the men separated from the boys.
I mean, this is a very difficult pit road, just like last week at Darlington. Like we saw Darlington, you know, there was multiple different ways to attack Darlington's pit road, and we saw people gain some time, and we saw a lot of people lose some time. So Thompson is another one of those weird pit stops, pit roads, and let's see what these guys can do.
All right, we're going to go ahead and jump on board with the Kelly's Custom Engraving roll bar camera with Dante Curtis and just kind of see what he's kind of sniffing out right now to try to get himself around Matt Dula, as they have a little bit different of an entry line to where I'm seeing, and it could just be that it was one bad corner, but Matt Dula is entering a little bit higher, and Dante Curtis is just waiting for that one mistake, but it doesn't look like it's really going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, all these people are searching like crazy right now for that one mistake. Go back to Jared Apel right now. There is a good battle right now brewing there between the four of them. They're almost all four side by side right now.
Oh God, that is a gaggle if I have ever seen one, as Justin Rigsby gets himself down below Will Eastman, and he is surprisingly fast on that lower line, and caution is out on track. Well, it looks like that is the 89 of Dustin Shepard.
Yeah, he blinks out and jumps back in and out and stops up on top of the outside wall there.
I've got nothing.
That's what I'm saying, he's blinking.
All right, that looks like just connection issues and just ended up in the wall. But that is going to make it to where we can go live up to the front of the pack. And are we going to see pit stops? Looks like no. No, we aren't. If it's as treacherous of a pit entry as we're hearing, I would be going into the pits at every opportunity under caution, so I do not have to make that battle.
Well, it could be they're hoping caution breeds cautions. About 4 cautions from now that they would be able to come in and kind of make it either a 1 or 2 stop race here.
Well, these street stocks, despite the fact that they run at a lower fuel level than filling the tank, because these cars, if we filled the tank, they'd be able to make it the whole way without question. But I would put money on, if these guys went in now, they would be able to make it to the end. Tires are a completely different question, but I would say that they would be able to make it to the end. All right. So I am hearing that the 89 after that connection issue is actually going to park it for the evening. And as somebody that has raced around far too many people and officials that have had those kinds of connection issues, that's the gentleman thing to do.
There are barrels leading into the pit road entry, asking for a friend. I think he's asking for himself. I think he's asking for himself.
There is one barrel, and right at the end of, if I remember, it was the warm-up, somebody decided to go full tilt into it.
And then we saw a wheel just come flying off and kind of rolling down the pit road.
Yeah, it was beautiful. But we're lining up side by side. The lights on the pace truck, I can't tell if those are, yes, they are off. So we are getting ourselves ready to go. And Matt Dula wastes no time once that pit truck drops down below the line to get himself up into first place. And that is going to work out perfectly because Dante Curtis is now going to be trapped on that low line. That's going to open up the outside for Jeff Bergener. And Dante Curtis, unless he can find a little bit of a gap, may find himself dropping back pretty quickly.
Yeah, right now.
I was hoping for 3 wide.
Yeah, Jordan Madron is going to go ahead and go by him. Dante Curtis is going to try and look up and squeeze in between Brian Hacker, but Brian Hacker is not going to leave that hole open for too long. He's trying to shut the door on him so he can get by him as well there, going for 4th.
Well, if we were in any other car on any other track, I would say that Will Eastman's dropping down there to help Jared Apel. But Dante Curtis gets himself up onto that line. Brian Hacker is right there on his bumper. But that minimizes the damage that Dante Curtis could have had there. But we've got 2 rows of side-by-side, and Jared Abel and Will Eastman are going to be in the same situation, that unless they can find a hole, and it looks like Will Eastman has his. But is Jared Apel really going to be able to find the same kind of gentlemanly behavior that happened there? No, he's just going to force his way in front of Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, right now they are battling pretty hard right now. We got a 23 of Gary Eschen looking to go low on the Devin Rogers. He's trying to find a spot and close the door. He gave him a little tap there in the middle of the corner, got him a little loose there, and now he's going to hug the inside line right here. Jared Apel's going to feel the void of where he was. Let's see if he's going to be able to make a room there on the bottom.
That bump and run did not work the way he would have thought, for where he had somebody just a little too close to himself right there on the bumper, to where that gap was closed, and he's going to not gain the position from the bump and run. He's going to lose at least 1.
And Ryan Johnson's going to pull up right behind him, hopefully, most likely, and take that spot back and not leave that open hole there. And Gary's going to be stuck on the bottom there.
And these guys are battling and trying to keep these gaps a little bit closer than they were on that last run at this point. To where if we go to the blimp, this is the battle for 4th. Is Brian Hacker gives Dante Curtis a little bit of the tip there. And that checkup that caused is actually providing a little bit of a lifeline to Gary Eschen. But unless he can get himself up into that outside line, he's not going to be doing too well.
Yeah, I think Dante Curtis is trying to search for a different entry. I think he backed off that corner, which Brian Hacker wasn't looking at all. They did not know that was coming. And so that kind of destroyed that and just made a whole entire chain reaction for all those guys on the outside.
And we are right now, it looks like Gary Eschen may actually be able to get himself up into that line. And he has to really start to think about how much damage he's doing to these Hoosiers. And considering we've got a conga line going around the track right now here at Thompson Motor Speedway, it's time to just kind of settle in And unless there is a blatant opening, just survive.
It doesn't look like he wants to follow that advice, though. He's back underneath Jared Apel here, and Ryan Johnson looks like he's going to try and take that take the outside from him.
And Jared Apel is looking like he's going to go ahead and cross over Devin Rogers, and we've now got 2 cars going side by side, and Jared Apel slots himself back into line, and Ryan Johnson is going to get himself up and try to be in front of Gary Eschen. He gets the job done. Gary Eschen gets back up into line, and now Will Eastman is going to try to get himself around that 23, and he may be able to do it, because I would assume that Gary Eschen's tires are a little warmer than everybody else's as he's...
Ooh, he's in the wall. Devin Rogers tapped the wall right there. Jared Apel drops down below.
And that's the kind of opportunity that you need to wait for. And, ooh, we got a little bit of contact, and these guys are going side by side and testing that new netcode algorithm that iRacing has, and it's holding up pretty well right now.
They're flirting with disaster right now. Being door to door, I mean, he drives them up the track big time right there.
And that's what as he gets into the bumper, and iRacing did a fantastic job, because that would have been disaster 2 weeks ago. And right now it's just good hard racing. These guys are scraping a little bit of paint off, but it's not on the wall. It's bumper to rear.
And then we got Ryan Johnson looking a little bit low, and Devin Rogers, he peeks his nose out here on that last corner on the entry, trying to show that, you know, psych him out a little bit.
As Gary Eschen, after running some very hard laps, is back down on that low line, but about 3 positions back from where we first joined him. And he is running that low line. You can't tell me otherwise. That's not where he wants to be right now.
And maybe he's trying to find something out for later in the race. Right now, nothing's really working for him on that low line.
As we're seeing a little bit of extra action, that's Justin Rigsby trying to get himself down below the 29 of Gordon. And he's alongside. Ooh, yeah, we're starting to see some extra side-by-side up here in the front, and this is currently the battle for 4th.
Yeah, currently Jordan Madden blinked just a little bit, and they were all like nose to tail. They kind of all bumped each other, stacked up just a little bit, and Jordan Madden disappeared. I think Dante might have checked up just a little bit and allowed Brian Hacker just to drop down, get door to door with them.
And I would just like it to be known, I was not condoning the action of this door-to-door racing and testing the netcode gods, but I love it.
I mean, these guys are racing like, I mean, literally a paper-thin wall in between them right now. These guys are doing a pretty fantastic job of avoiding any type of huge net code and putting out some outstanding racing for us.
As Jared Apel hip checks Dante Curtis, and that action has been noted by the stewards, and I'm waiting for retribution before anything.
Ryan Johnson was able to get by Devin Rogers right there.
As Will Eastman, we see a little bit of contact and see him fall back to where right now he is side by side with Matt Cook in the number 15. And I understand I did ask for 3 to 4 wide. Now they're proving to me that they could do it with next to everyone, and I want more. This is absolutely brilliant. We are seeing absolute bravery in the corners from these guys, and they're going to show that these cars and this track is going to support some door-to-door racing as we are 55 laps into 125. It's only going to get better from here as we see Jordan Madron blink out for a moment there, and he's gone and then back again. And I do not envy Brian Hacker right now being that person behind him, because it can be scary.
Yeah, I mean, the good part about it, he's not really on his bumper or really close by. I mean, he's about a car length or two back from him. So, I mean, it doesn't affect the way he drives as of right now. When he closes the gap and gets near his rear bumper, that's when it's the blinking. If he does continue, that's when it starts to become a really big problem.
Well, right now the gap in front is 0.4 of a second. And we look at the last lap, and Brian Hacker's about 1/10 of a second faster. So the gap is shrinking. But the one thing I do want to make sure and talk about, the race that we're seeing right now from Matt Dula. He, again, got that lead and running that number 17 Mohawk Foundation car. He's just pulling away and just running up at the front of this pack. Jeff Bergener pretty much on pace with him. They swap back and forth between faster laps, netting out. But these guys are just running a nice, clean, calm race and not pushing the envelope right now.
Yeah, so far we've only seen one caution right now. We're at lap 60 of 125. Closing on the halfway mark here. These guys are running fantastic. So, I mean, if they're going to do a one-stop race, that's when I'm trying to figure out when will they pit.
As we're seeing a little bit of traffic back here in 12th. And this is actually the top 10. These guys were, as we see contact, and that is gonna bring it out. First off, you had to say something and bring that commentator's curse down on these men. It was a joint effort because you said it and then I looked at this group. But we'll take a quick look and see what happens. That looks like that is, the 29 of Jason Gordon just gets a little bit loose. The 31 tags him, and it's all she wrote. And now we're seeing the pit stops.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're basically at the halfway mark. They're about to come across the line, make it 65 of 125. So we're past the halfway mark here. So they can definitely make it to the end now.
Well, and we're seeing these guys go ahead, throw on 4 tires, full fuel, and Jared Abel definitely did not go 4 tires there. That is a 2-tire stop if I ever saw one. But these guys are pouring out.
Matt Dula almost drops all the way to the back there.
And I don't know if that was just a bad stop, but right now, Robbie Clavey in the 73 has yet to pit and currently is the leader of this race. But he also pitted on the last stop, and he's on his way in now. And so that is going to relinquish the lead to the 51 of Jared Apel. And I hope 2 tires do better on these cars than the last time I tried that.
You wonder what his left side looks like. I most likely took a Most likely took rights only there.
Yeah, his right sides. While these cars, that is pretty much where you need to be.
Or did he do only fuel only?
No, his pit stop time was almost exactly half of what everybody else's was. So that has to be right sides, because it's not going to take much longer than 13 seconds to put in 8 gallons from a can.
And Matt Dula did 37 seconds, where everybody else was averaging around like 26 seconds. So he was there for 10 seconds longer.
He may have missed his stop or had to decided to take 4 tires later than he should have, but the lights on the pace truck, no, they are not off. I thought they were. They started going side by side and then they confused me. Must be 2 to go. It's the only problem with running these races during the day is I get confused because sometimes it looks like there's lights and there aren't.
Well, pace truck lights are off for this one. Jared Apel chose the outside lane here.
I was right. The lights on the pace truck were off. I just got the note from race control that they extended it. Just to confuse me. Actually, it's because people weren't lined up, but... Alright, the pace truck is in. Dante Curtis is right up on our leader, giving him absolutely no space, but the 51 of Jared Apel gets a 1-car length jump over everyone else. And we're starting to see that side-by-side action. Dante Curtis is getting the great run out of turn 2. That's going to get him up into 2nd place. And the 68 is fighting back on the inside. I don't know if that's going to be just a absolutely pointless at this point, because Dante Curtis, he is fully clear, and right now the 21 of Jeff Bergener is the next one to try to get around him. But Jordan Madron is trying to continue the monumentous run that he has had tonight and keep himself in the top 5. It looks like he may have tried to get himself all the way up into the outside lane, but couldn't quite get it done. Brian Hacker gets the nose up there, and we will see if he can get himself up in front of Ryan Johnson, but it looks like that outside line is just too strong.
Well, he was able to clear, get in front of Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson's under battle right now with the 23 Gary Ashton. Gary Ashton is still trying to make that bottom line work right now, but it's still not working for him.
But he has 4 fresh tires, so if you're going to try, now's the time. But I got to get myself up here as I keep seeing that 03 look like he's just getting that much closer to Jared Apel, and we're seeing the difference between 2 and 4 tires here. These guys weren't much different on pace as the 03 looks down to the low line. Can't quite get the run out, but he is just going to keep setting him up, and looks like he may end up giving him a little bit of the tip to get this move done.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to have to kind of angle it. Ooh, he pushes him deep in that corner. I wonder if Dante's going to have to kind of drive on the high line, try to get the best run out, and then dive deep in the next corner.
As we're seeing, he is a little bit braver going into that corner. And I think Jared Apel is running the perfect defensive line. Don't let him get up onto that higher line. Make him check up earlier than he's wanting to. And that kills the run out of the corner.
Yeah, you got to manage the defense here whenever you're out there on the 2 tire stop, and got to play all the cards that you have in your deck. And he's doing a fine job as of right now, but we're still 76 of 125, so we got like about 49 laps to go, 48 as they cross the line here. So a little bit of patience now, but not a little bit later in the race.
And we saw on that last lap coming out of turn 4, Jared Apel gets himself just a little bit loose. So I think he is starting to see the error of his ways with the tires. But at the same time, he also has to remember it got him up to the lead of this race. And it's not going to be the easiest track to pass on.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like, the middle groove is where it's at, and he is taking every little bit of that out of Dante Curtis's reach, and Dante's not able to do anything. But, you know, like I said, we still have just over 40 laps to go here, and, you know, the left sides could wear out a lot quicker here, the longer they go. Big advantage for Dante Curtis if he just keeps pressuring them. And hopefully Jared makes a mistake for him. That's what he's hoping for.
And we'll take a quick run onto the roll bar camera just to see what Dante Curtis is looking at, even though, in all honesty, it's not that much different of a view from what he has here to the 21 of Jeff Bergener, as he is watching this battle with bated breath, waiting for something to happen, because he's not really having to work all that hard to keep the gap that he has. As we see him, he's looking a little low, thinking that maybe something was going to happen and give him the opportunity to get himself into the top two, maybe even take over the lead.
I mean, that's what Jeff's hoping for. Jeff's like, all right, these two guys are going to fight hard. If something happens, he's got to be right there to take over that spot or make a move to put himself to take advantage of the situation.
And anybody in this top 7 right now, we have a bit of a breakaway pack to where there is about a second gap between 7th and 8th, to where 8th of Matt Cook is a little bit behind. We're seeing a little bit of disheveled right now, as there's a little fight going on here between Adam Gable and Justin Rigsby. This group of 3, they should probably try to form up, see what they can do as a group to get themselves up to this little pack that's in front of them. And just kind of mind your time, because we've got 30 laps until the end of this race, and a lot can happen between that.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen between there. These guys make a mistake, hit the outside wall, door it. I mean, a lot of things can happen. The stack up lines, people diving low. I mean, we've seen it so far tonight of those few things already happening.
And we'll just jump back as Robbie Clavey, Devin Rogers, and Matt Dula, these guys they are fighting. And this is currently the battle for 13th. And these guys are out here, they're off the pace, but they're having an absolute blast.
I would say Matt Dula is. Matt Dula, I don't know what happened with him on that pit stop, but he went from first, and now he's sitting in 13th. So, you know, he might be angry driving, trying to come back up to the field.
Well, and I think it did look like he may have slid through his pit stall. And with these iRacing rules, when it comes to pit stops, sometimes that's all it takes. But we're going to get back up to the front, because Dante Curtis, he is giving Jared Apel zero breathing room, doing everything he can to force him into an error, and it's just not happening at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this might be the race-winning move of taking the 2 tires there. Track position is king.
Thompson is a short track, and these cars don't really have the power to be able to get off the corners. It's all about carrying the momentum. But as they come up to traffic, That is the 32 of John Masterson. Staying on the low line, down as low as he possibly can to make sure he's not interfering with anything. But if I'm in Dante Curtis's shoes, I'm frustrated right now. And as we're closing out, we're into the final third of this race. I'm starting to think about a nudge.
Something, you know. I mean, you got to be frustrated because you would think that you got 4 fresh set of tires. You should be able to drive right by this guy, and it's not happening. You know, you get to him, but there's nothing that you can actually do to him.
As he's, looks a little bit low, looking like he may try to get Jared able to protect the low line and then cross him over and get to the outside. Doesn't pan out, and that little move has brought Jeff Bergener in. He's looking down low, trying to get the nose down, but it just does not work, and that's actually going to put Brian Hacker. He keeps getting right up there on the 21, and the lower the 21 goes, the more opportunity the 11 has to get himself along the outside and kill his run coming out of the corner.
Yeah, Brian Hacker's running the middle to high line, and Jeff Bergener in 21, he's dropping down low, trying to arc it, trying to get a better run. So the 11 could time it just right. He can put his nose right there on the back right corner of Jeff's car and kind of stop it.
But we are definitely starting to see some of these guys. The 21, I understand that he's trying to figure out the track a little bit, make sure he's got his understanding of how that low line works. But these guys pitted on lap 63. It was basically the halfway point of this race, which means we stay green to the end here. We're going to be treading new water with these tires because we had a caution in the middle of that last stint. Let the tires cool down, get a little bit of a heat cycle out of it to where they definitely survived, as the 21 has a little bit of an issue on corner entry there that's going to move the 11 up right onto his bumper, but I don't think anything's really going to come of it. But these guys are coming up to 25 laps to go. I'm not going to be pushing my tires any harder than I need to. That way I know that they are going to be as good as possible going into the tail end of this race, so I can go all in at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do something. I mean, if Brian Hacker, Jeff Bergener, Ryan Johnson, Jordan Mattern, just ride comfortably at this point. Try to save up. Release on corner entry just a little bit. Save that front right tire heat cycle there for a little bit, and then about 10 laps to go. Start putting the pressure on them.
And here's a name we have not got to talk too much about. The 98 of Brandon Klesneski. He's got himself up into 9th place. That is 6 spots from his start. And he's putting the pressure on Matt Cook. And Will Eastman's right there on his...
21's round. 21 is a round.
And that is bringing out the yellow flag. Let's see what happens here. All right, he's just going there, and that is the 11 giving him the tip. And right as I say that, the note comes in from race control. That is going to shake up this front group that we have here. And sorry, I was trying to get to a better camera here, as we'll go ahead here is the bumper of the 21, and just there's a whole lot of Trans Am there that just kind of pushed it through.
And this is not what Jared April wanted to see
As
here.
we're starting to see a few guys. The 21 makes his way in. Will Eastman, Brandon Klesneski, Brian Hacker, Robbie Claffey, Jeff Mathis, Shane Loveridge. All these guys taking the chance as we've got 21 laps to go. Are those fresh tires going to make that big of a difference?
I mean, as we're seeing right now, I don't think so. I mean, I think the track position and being able to hold a middle line and keep with decent pace, that's going to win the race. I don't think these fresh tires are really going to do anything for them.
I honestly believe that I'm with you. They're going to get one lap that everybody's tires are going to end up at the same temperature, but they're going to get one lap's worth of that low line at the same speed as the old tires before they overheat and perform the same. That's personal experience, and just I still haven't got my 3-wide proper yet, but
we got 18 laps here. You know.
It's gonna happen before the end of this race. I could almost guarantee it. But we're getting these guys stacked up. The lights on the pace truck are off. And we are seeing the 11 of Brian Hacker is at the back of the field. So apparently he was found to be at fault for that. So the top 6. But actually, yes, just reminded as we are back to green. Dante Curtis is, fighting. He went for the jump, couldn't quite time it properly, and that gives Jared Apel the opportunity to get himself up there. We have Dante Curtis there in second. We have last week's winner who ended up with an EOL, now fighting in third. So Ryan Johnson, after winning, getting an EOL, makes his way all the way up through the field to be on the podium.
17 laps to go. Let's see if we can keep it clean and green to the end. What are everybody going to do with these 4 fresh set of tires?
And right now, none of them have managed to make their way up farther than Will Eastman here in 9th. He's trying to make that low line work, and it may end up working for him, but he's going to run into Gary Eshin, who is down on that low line with the older tires. Or even if he can make it work, it's not going to work for long, as he's going to run into people. As right now we're right up here as the battle for first rages on right where we left off before the caution. There's Dante Curtis right on the bumper of the 51. That's a Chevy against a Chevy. And Dante Curtis gets a little bit of a nudge in there. Jared Apel collects it, but he's going to try to take advantage and can't quite get it around. But I think that was a love tap in comparison to what I think we're going to see before the end of this race.
We're down to 13 laps to go. I think we're going to see the tip given a little bit more often now.
I think there's going to be a little more than the tip here soon, to where I think there is going to be a little bit of deformation on both of those cars before we're done tonight. As I'm seeing crashes, are we going to end up with a caution here? It looks like no. But I cannot look away from this as Dante Curtis is giving absolutely no space whatsoever. And these guys, I think Dante Curtis tried early, and now it's just a matter of, oh, Jared Abel does get a little bit loose. That's going to check up the field, and that is going to give Ryan Johnson the opportunity to try to close up himself. And I'm kind of curious, are we going to end up with a little bit of a extra nudge there, as Jared Abel and Ryan Johnson are teammates, and Dante Curtis is flirting with the netcode gods every time he pulls this, as it looks like he gives them a little bit more of a nudge. And
this is nail biter right here. I mean, he's right there doing everything he can to try to pass him as cleanly as possible, and you know, Jared April's checking up in the middle of the corner just a little bit, and Dante's not having it. he's laying a bumper to him
right there again. And these guys, we're fitting 4 cars in the closest camera we have through the turns. That's how you can tell that this top 4, the top 3, this is anybody's race. If somebody gives a little bit of an extra nudge, Jordan Madron's right there. He could end up winning this race just because somebody gets a little bit aggressive, as we're seeing Dante Curtis. He's leaving 0 space, and there is the nudge. Jared Abel collects it, manages to hold on to first, and he gets slammed into the wall, but still in first. Now Ryan Johnson is down below Dante Curtis, and that is going to end up, that is going to create a little bit of extra racing. And if I'm Ryan Johnson right there, I'm going to give my teammate a little bit of retribution, because this is that we have not seen the end.
Oh man, yeah, we have 4 laps to go here. Let's see what happens here to the end.
And he, again, right there, trying to push, trying to get any kind of an error out of Jared Abel. And he has been unflappable through the tail end of this race. Dante Curtis is doing everything to get into his mind, but with 3 laps to go, he's holding on to that lead. And the top 3 have just taken off.
But I think Jordan checked up for that big spin there, didn't want to get involved in it. And right now, Ryan Johnson just smacked the wall right there.
As Dante Curtis goes for the glorious undercut, can't quite hold on to it. And I would say that Jared Abel crossed him over, but he just ran his line. And with the white flag flying, we're probably going to see another move exactly like that. Dante Curtis is going to try it one more time, and this time he uses the 4 wheels of Jared Abel to make the turn to take the win. And
I don't think he was happy with that one.
I don't either. I'm going to say this may be an interesting interview after we're done here. So, all right. With that officially done, it looks like we're still waiting on 1 or 2 people to go ahead and finish up, and we have our official, well, our official, unofficial results here. So, our winner tonight is Dante Curtis. Second is Jared Apel. Third, Ryan Johnson. Fourth, Matt Cook. Fifth, Will Eastman. Sixth, Gary Eschen. Seventh, Brian Hacker. Eighth, Justin Rigsby. Ninth, Devin Rogers. 10th, Matt Dula. 11th, Jeff Mathis. And 12th is Brandon Klizneski.
13th will be Casey Wood. 14th will be Travis Hoffler. 14th will be, or actually 15th will be Jeff Berginger. 16th will be Robbie Clavey. 17th will be Adam Gable. 18th is Jordan Mattern. 19th is Shane Loveridge. 20th is Jason Gordon. 21st will be John Masterson. 22nd is Dustin Shepard. And 23rd is Jonathan Cross.
All right. We've got to ask him what was going through his mind through those last few laps. Mr. Dante Curtis, that was some hard racing and testing of the netcode gods at the end there.
Yeah, we got passed by getting doored, so we weren't going to lose there. So just had to do what I had to do back.
I mean, it was honestly throughout the last 25 laps, you had a lot of moments that probably 2 weeks ago, iRacing would have sent everybody into a spin. But they did a good job fixing all of that. But
yeah, they done a good job with that. Really didn't have to worry about it. Wasn't really thinking about it, but all them times I tried to get Jared loose to where I could get alongside of him off the corner. Thankfully, we didn't loop him any. I mean, we about did one time, and I mean, I got held up for I don't know how many laps. I think I led one lap tonight, and it was this one. And I knew we had a fast car, and the way the points is getting here at the end of the season, I mean, you just got to be really cutthroat.
I got you, man. I mean, you put together a fine race. You started there, top 10, and fought your way forward, and you were having a battle. Did you think that the two tires would have been that good there at the end?
I don't know who took two there. I bolted on 4 there on that last stop just because we were dumping. The tires would have got done before we dumped all the fuel in. So I don't know what them guys did, but I think 0 tires would have been better than 4, just purely because track position's everything. I mean, if I was the only car that didn't come in and pit, for example, and everybody else pit and got tires, I'd still like my chances better than not having the track position.
Yeah, you were fighting. Jared definitely only took 2 on that pit stop. That's how he got himself into that position at the front, because he was he was quite a few positions back, but it was the right call, I would say, for somebody in his position, but in yours where you were already fighting in the top 5.
Yeah, I had to take 4 there just because I knew everybody else would. And I mean, if he took 2 there, I mean, I'd probably have done the same thing. But just early in the race, he used me up trying to get past me, and I mean, didn't really even try and make it clean at all. He just kind of him and Brian both just drove through me. So I mean, it's Thompson. It is what it is. I mean, as you could tell, I mean, we really, if we were at any other track, I could have pulled out and passed these guys, but just if you don't get that pass made, like, it's super, super hard to pass. And if you don't get that pass made, you're going to lose even more spots. So, I mean, I was just really trying to just keep my track position, and being second there at the end was probably better than being first. So I tried that little slide job there. I thought I'd come up across him, got clear, but he did a good job crossing under me. But there at the end, I wasn't going to let him cross back under me.
I had to commend you on that one because I've unfortunately made that same move far too many times and had it end the exact same way. To where you kept it much cleaner than I normally do.
Yeah, I really was, with 2 to go there. I mean, it was go time, and I thought if I made a move, I wasn't going to get back to him after I did that slider. But I thought I was going to spin out there when I threw it in that hard. But at second time, we weren't going to finish second tonight. We really needed these points. Got to thank him for taking away my 5 bonus points there, for hitting me after the checkered. I mean, could really use those, but I mean, I don't know. I guarantee you he would probably done the same thing 10 times out of 10.
Well, next week we're heading to Hickory, which is even shorter.
Yeah, that's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a plaque race, so 200 laps, a lot of fuel mileage and stuff in place. So hopefully we can use that to our advantage there. Since we're starting in the back, hopefully we can try and do something different and be there at the end to pass them guys. Hopefully it won't be as hard to pass as it was this week.
No, I've got you, but again, it was you gave us a lot of great racing to watch. We'll ignore anything that may be going, but
hey, I told you guys last week we was going to put on a show, and so we did.
Very much did. Congratulations, and we'll see if we get to chat with you next week. Unfortunately, happened to come from the back.
Yep, sounds good, guys. I really appreciate it. Just got to thank all the guys at the North-South Racing League for giving us a great place to race here. I mean, I'm always probably the biggest critic on track selection, and I mean, we were back at a short track, but this is a race. It's probably not going to get put on the schedule again, but I got to thank all them guys for giving us a place to race. Devin, Brandon, Dustin, all the guys back at DCD Racing, Dante Curtis Designs. Couldn't be here without all those guys.
All right, thank you, sir, and we'll catch you next week.
Yep, hopefully talk to you guys again next week. I'll see y'all.
All right.
User left your channel.
All right. Onward to the next one that I'm sure there are some... Wait.
He's gone.
Yeah, all right. We will not be chatting with second place. Mr. Jared Apel has already disconnected, and I can kind of understand why. So we will move on to third place. And Mr. Ryan Johnson, who had a massive run, getting to start at the back from winning last week, all the way up onto the podium.
Oh, God. What's up, guys?
Fortunately, we got to skip right to you this week.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get into it. I don't know what happened, honestly. But none of my business.
No, any way you slice it, it was a monumental run for you after starting at the back, getting yourself all the way up and giving us that kind of a run.
Yeah. As soon as we got into practice tonight, I was getting upset the more I practiced because I'm like, there's nowhere else to run on this darn track, and we're going to have to try and pass the whole field, and it was going to be a pain in the butt. Yeah, we got a couple spots on the first run, and took forever, it felt like. And we pit. Fortunately, we got some pit strategy going because we gained some spots on pit road, and then got a couple more spots on the track. And yeah, I think we were just fortunate to be up there at the end with the lineup the way it restarted on that last caution.
Yeah, you got the miracle spot. Anybody who started on the outside line, if you could keep the space from the bottom line, you were making up spaces until somebody was a gentleman and let him up.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was like the middle was the sweet spot, especially entering the corner. I know running side by side, you really got to know who you're racing around, because some people give a lot less than others, and you try to judge that before you get to the corner, because otherwise you end up wrecking everybody.
Yeah, and nobody wants that. But again, it was one of those great runs. We're reaching the final third of the season, and here you are. Honestly, two truly strong runs back to back to really start to close out the season.
Yeah, we got to stay on a hot streak. I know Dante always comes on pretty good late in the year, so we got to try and do the same to stay ahead of them, keep our point lead. It's very difficult to do that with these guys. These guys are always so competitive, Well,
but yeah. Next week we run off to Hickory.
I think Hickory will be a lot of fun. We did Robbie's Halloween event in October of 21 there. That was in the Xfinity cars, and that was a lot of fun. I think the street stocks, though not being my favorite car, I think it'll be a good race next week.
I got you. Man, you had a fantastic race, like I said, and I mean, you're able to drive back up through the field. I mean, it sucks you have to get penalized for winning a race and have to start at the back, but I mean, you've been doing a fantastic job after getting these wins to be able to drive all the way back up to the field and get these wonderful podium finishes, which helps get those points there and keep you ahead of Dante there coming towards the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Trying to get all the bonus points we can rack up, and unfortunately starting at the back with an EOL, all we can get is like hard charger and 0x trying to stay clean. Not even hard charger, we're exempt from that. So I don't know what I'm talking about. Pole position is what I meant. But yeah, had a good run. Thank you guys. I want to thank all the admins at NSRL, all our sponsors, Kelly's Custom Engraving, 5-Star Realty, Track Time Entertainment, Cross Collision, J&J Hardwood Flooring. I hope I got everybody. RC2 Promotions and DCD for my paint. NSRL After Dark, my team. Everybody tuning in and watching. Holy cow, this list keeps just getting longer. You guys are broadcasting.
And you know what? You just made it since you're the last interview. I don't have to do that list again. Actually, I will anyway.
I would say, hopefully I didn't miss anybody. If I missed anybody, then you can cover them. How about that?
All right.
We'll tag team it.
Great run tonight. It was the best, honestly, perfect thing for the points lead, minimizing the damage, and we'll see what you have for us on the 3rd mile track, Hickory, next week.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Yep, you
Have
too.
a good one.
User left your channel.
All right. That is going to do it for us here at Ghostfire Media on this Monday evening. I gotta reiterate exactly what we just got from Ryan. Thank you to the sponsors for the North-South Racing League, Cross Collision and Body, J&G Hardwood Flooring, 5-Star Realty Group, Kelly's Custom Engraving, Track Time Entertainment, Nelms Racing, RC2 Race Promotions, which hopefully next week we are going to have a little bit of an extra announcement surrounding that group for an event that we are going to be working with them on, so stay tuned for that one. For Ghostfire Media, I'm Josh Laston. That's Adam Wood. Have yourselves a good evening.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.